we're back. Welcome to the Cavalry, everybody. Very exciting episode. Coming here
Special
live.
app.
What's that?
Special app.
There's that trademark chemistry coming to you live from Moscow, Idaho, with good buddy Alvin Williams, comedian, hilarious Alvin Williams. Give it up for Alvin.
Welcome,
Hey, good to be
Alvin.
here.
Yeah,
Can you hear me okay? Am I good?
I can hear you great. Yes.
Okay.
that's all that matters. Who cares?
Well, let's
about
get
this?
into this shoe game talk.
Oh, sure, yeah, because you guys are both like sneakerheads.
Oh, you're a sneakerhead too?
Oh yeah.
So show them what you're wearing here, Alvin.
Okay.
Put a foot up in the air.
See if I can't put it up.
Don't
I'll
take
just
one of our 9,000 wires. Oh, he's just taking it off.
Yeah, just
Good
take it
Lord.
off. This
Oh,
is,
nice.
Look at that. There's like purple and leopard
Put it
and
in your
stripes.
face. Yes, this is the LeBron 19 Animal Instinct. It's
Oh my
got cheetah print, and then tiger print on the tongue, got zebra print on the back,
So many exotic animals had to die.
and there's
For
probably a
LeBron's.
camel toe in the lining for the sock.
Wow.
It's a nice touch.
Yeah, this has multiple uses, I can tell.
Damn.
Nice.
Now,
I got
Johnny,
all my
you're more
all
of a-
my Jordans are right over there in the other room, but I got half of them are unworn, boxed. The other half I wear. I'm not wearing
Yeah.
anything special
One-
right now. These are just
one-
my, these
Oh,
are
you-
my hey, look at me Adidas Ultra Boosts.
But it's the screen.
Yeah, your green screen's on, so let's. Dude, those shoes are incredible.
Those
They're
are
invisible.
incredible. He's got invisible sneakers.
They're like Harry Potter shoes.
Ooh, Yeezy's gonna come after you after that. He's like, they stole my idea.
Yeah.
Have you seen that, by the way?
What?
See
This
what?
this big thing that's going on with Adidas and Kanye, because you know how Kanye has the Yeezy line, which is part of Adidas, and he has all these.
Let's pretend that I do know that.
Well, he's
The
got,
Yeezy 350s.
yes. They're billionaire. It's a $1 billion industry. It's just Yeezys, just Kanye shoes alone, but it's under the Adidas blanket. And the new people who are in charge at Adidas have started making very similar designs to his stuff and marketing it for way cheaper. So it looks kind of like Kanye stuff, but how could you be biting his stuff if you're the company who makes his stuff?
Oh, what is that shoe called?
Which one? The
The knockoff that's
oh
still
yeah,
Adidas.
the air contract
They're
breach.
called, yeah,
The intellectual property.
they're called
12s.
Wheezies.
Adidas.
Completely different. There's no connection.
No inspiration at all.
Yeah. It's been a war that's going on right now. He's on Instagram every day. P. Diddy has jumped in. You know it's big when Diddy has chimed in.
Whose
and has
side is he
chosen
taking?
side. Well, I'm gonna give you a guess which side he's taking before I tell you.
I'm gonna say, maybe this is contrary or not, but I think he's on the Adidas side. For some reason, I think of P. Diddy is like a big corporate business.
This is what the rap game has come to when you actually think the war between two artists is because they want to back the other billionaire brand versus.
Yeah.
Remember when it just used to be East Coast, West Coast? You fought for what location you're at. Like, no, this doesn't give me the right intellectual property rights, and I have better tax options on this side. Like,
Yeah.
So wait, so
he chose Kanye.
he did choose Kanye.
He did choose
Okay.
Kanye. He said, I won't wear another piece of Adidas clothing until they do right by you, because Adidas has taken too much from hip hop culture and made so much money off of it since the days of Run DMC. That's what he said. So he was tired of it. They're protesting.
Me neither. I'm out. Adidas, hear that? Not one more.
Andrew is out of the sneaker game.
I'm going all Kirkland signature until the Wheezies have been removed. What would be a so what is the solution? So like he just wants a cut of this lower brand shoe, or he just wants them to stop doing it altogether?
This is Kanye West, man.
Yeah, he wants to be president.
He wants to sue them to the ground and take over the company. That's what he wants.
No.
That's what he wants.
There you go.
We
Your
la-
move, Adidas.
We laughed at him before. Remember when he was with Nike and they didn't give him creative rights, and he's like,
Yeah.
I want to do my own shoe, and they laughed at him. He's like, I want to be a fashion mogul. I want to be an icon. They laughed at him, and now he's a billionaire because he went his own way. He's like, remember when Bill Burr talked about how they kill all the black people who talk like Donald Trump?
No, but
he
that's
did.
hilarious.
Because he was saying he was like, you always see these crazy white people that rise to power, and it's like, no, there's crazy black people too who have the same mindset, but you've killed them all.
Yeah.
He said, do you listen to how Kanye West speaks? I'm a god. I'm better than everyone. I want to rule the world. It's like, that is the same mindset as the great emperors. That's the same thing. So it's like, we laughed at Trump all the way until he became president. It's that.
Well, I heard this quote that you should never underestimate people who overestimate themselves. So like, you think
Bars.
logically, you look at it and you go, you have no idea what you're talking about. This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You don't know this industry. You're never gonna. But like, it's the same thing in comedy. Like, we know so many comedians.
That's what we're doing.
Well, yeah.
I'll have this delusional dream of I am worthy of stardom.
Oh yeah, not us though. We're actually gonna make it. I'm talking about the other comedians who don't know, who are still doing their podcast on Zoom or whatever. No, but it's true. Like, there's so many comics who I would always bet on the comic who's not as funny, but has just like a giant ego and just believes it to just the irrational confidence. I would bet on that 1,000 times more than the really funny comic who like beats himself up after every show. Like, no, I don't deserve it. You know, I'm not gonna like. You're right. You're not probably gonna make it with the people who like you said, like the Kanye mindset. Yeah, it's like, it's very powerful.
Well, and I have a theory that is directly related to this when it comes to us. And I believe, whether you want to believe it or not about yourself, to be a successful comic, you do have to have this heightened sense of delusion, because that's what got you through getting beat down in the process. That's why you're still visible right here. If you come in level-headed and they beat you down, nobody can see you. But if you were up here when they beat you down, look at where you are now. You're right. You're right where you're supposed to be. Like, that guy has it all together. It's like, no, his ass was up here. He got beat down.
Why can't anyone ever beat you up? Right. You know what
I
mean?
No one beats you up. There's no upward beatability.
Yeah. No, that's what happened to me. I started in college, and everyone already knew who I was. I was in the improv team, and I did these shows, and they put me up here. And then I started doing the road, and boy, was it
right. Yeah. Boy, the road will change everything. The first time, because it's the delusion that makes you think, I should go on the road with this.
Yeah.
Right.
This is good. Other people need to see this. I don't know if this has been out.
And it's almost gross. You have this attitude where, like, oh man, they don't know what they're about to
know. I mean, if I just get out there. And then the road like chews you up, spits you out, and you come back. And when you come back, you feel deflated, and all of a sudden you look around and you've got better material, you're stronger, and you're like, wait, did that make me better? Because I feel horrible.
Well, it's interesting because, like, when you start, you're kind of doing stand-up in the same spot over and over and over again, like literally the same stage. For a lot of people. For me, it was the one club, and going there every night. And you get very comfortable with that. It doesn't matter who the crowd is.
Right.
The stage, you're very comfortable with that stage.
Yeah.
So you feel like you have all these ideas, anything, you can talk about anything. You have so much material after a while. You're like, oh yeah, man, I got a half hour. Or I got, 25 minutes, whatever. And then you go on the road, some strange stage with strange people. Like, they're not going to get this. Yeah. They don't know about this. They're not going to get this reference. And you're like, I have like 2 minutes.
I got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I got that, but it's the hottest 2 minutes in the game. And if I just get to the right place and show this 2 minutes, it's
funny how, like, even now, like, we're experienced and we know, like, you could still, like, we still lie to ourselves. Like, so all it takes is for me to get a new idea for a new bit I'm excited about, and then I'm like, oh, here we go. This is where I pop when they see this bit.
One new bit. Yeah, man. I've been in like a slump, I feel like, creatively.
You?
Yeah. And I feel like like everything I write is trash, or now I question everything. I'm in this mood now where like any idea, just the premise, I like the second I write it down, like, that's probably been done 1,000 times, and then I lose all interest in it, you know. But the second you get that one hot new bit, you're like, and then you know it's like you know it's original, you know it's yours and everything.
Yeah.
It's gonna change. It'll change my life again. But right now, I feel like
bring you out of
shit.
depression.
What's that?
Is that it'll bring you out of depression? Just
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
I did not know that you felt that way, because
Oh
you
my God.
you were one of the, like, to me, one of the best writers that's working. When you do
Very prolific.
Yeah. I didn't want to use
Yeah.
prolific because I think he just wasn't going to deal with it with me sitting next to him. But yes, you
Nah.
were one of the more prolific writers, man. Like the fact that
That's
you
nice
deal
of you
with
to
that.
say, but I don't know. Well, anyway, this moment though, I do feel it. But I mean, you know that feeling when because it comes in bunches, right? Do you find that it
Well,
comes in bunches?
Yeah, but I'm not just saying this because I'm here, man. Like, I think to myself, well, Andrew can write 5 new jokes about one subject when he feels like, and then I'm like, I need to stop being lazy.
Yeah,
Right.
That's actually why I brought you on here.
This is an intervention.
But like, you
This isn't even being recorded. We just wanted you to come to that conclusion. This is a therapy session.
You are always one of the first people that comes to mind when I'm in a slump, and it's like there's no excuse. Like, Andrew can do 5 jokes like that. Like,
Well, that's very nice of you. But Johnny, you've got in my head because we were talking about joke writing a while. You know when it was? We do a Patreon too, and we do bonus episodes.
Yeah, that episode.
We did like so we dug in our old notebooks. Like we tried to find, what was the idea?
Early jokes.
Just like the oldest jokes we could find, or maybe bits we never did, like stuff we wrote, but like that never worked out. And we tried to work them out or whatever. And then you said that thing where like, man, I was funnier then. And that scares the shit out of me now, because the stuff you write about, you know, because you have a kid and then you have a house and you get like a washing machine. And then you're like, fuck, man, am I boring?
Yeah, am I done? Am I done?
Am I done? Yeah.
no,
yeah.
but this is the key though. You weren't funnier then. You see what you wrote then, and you see how you could use it now, but it's not who you are anymore.
Right.
And that's the frustrating part. You're like, damn, if I was still that person, what I would be able to do with that material, oh my goodness, I was funnier then. But you're not. You're funnier now. That's why you see it.
I'm definitely still very aware of like hacky. I'm more forgiving of like hacky stuff now, because I'm like, when you've done comedy long enough, you know what it takes to survive and everything and get through certain shows and so I don't judge as much as I used to when I was younger. But I still have like I still recognize it. I go, that's a move. You know what I mean? Like that's a move. I'm gonna try.
that trick.
I'm gonna try and not do that if I can avoid it.
But tell me if I'm wrong. When you were younger, you had to let other people know. Did you see that? That was hacky.
Yeah.
You have to voice, like, I recognize it. Do you?
Right.
Whereas now you'll lay back and let the young people get pissed off.
Well, and I would try to write. Yeah, exactly. And then I would try to like write like meta stuff about it, or like do it the opposite way, and it's for nobody. The jokes were always for nobody, but for me, or So it's just
to prove to yourself you can do it.
Exactly.
Do you all get anxiety when the big dogs come out with a special and you're just like, oh, please don't do anything that sounds like the stuff that's been working for me for the last year?
I don't as much because, well, one, it happens sometimes. Like I've definitely had bits where like I had a bit and they did this Saturday Night Live sketch. It was very similar. And then that wasn't even it though. Then Ted Alexandro started going after Saturday Night Live because like, hey, you stole my bit. And it was the bit that I was doing that he said they stole from me. Right? Is the Zillow thing. Yeah. And then so I was like, God damn, I got to drop this bit. And I was opening with it and stuff. And then finally I was like, I'm not dropping it. I don't care. It's like, look, Ted Alexander's fighting with Saturday Night Live about it. Like, I got my thing. Like, forget it. Like, I'm going to do it. And I put it on the album. And it's like, okay, I won't do it after that. But, I just less precious about it. Like, I had a thing about primary care doctors, you know, and did it, put it on the album, and then Norm Macdonald like did, I don't know if you watched his like last special where he did it on Into the Computer, and he did like a very, very similar run on like primary, very specific, down to the reference, where with one of the triangle hitting them in the knee for the reflex and stuff. And I had like a similar reference like that. I was like, oh no, but luckily it's like, well, how would I have stolen it from, you know what I mean? He hasn't been going out, like literally. You wheezied him. Yeah, I wheezied. I did the wheezy version of Norm Macdonald's primary care joke. But I just was like, I don't know. You know what? And I used to care more, but I think what it is now, there's just so much noise and there's so much content out that I don't think anyone can keep track or is paying attention enough. And as long as you know you didn't steal it, you know what I mean? Who really cares? I don't know. And I wouldn't care.
That's what stand-up is about, is integrity. I think everyone in our business is always.
It's always been the honor system. I mean, if you really want to steal a bit, you can do it and get away with it and become very famous, and no one will care. There's no repercussions. It's just the honor. It's always been.
Well, people will care, but there's not people that will affect your career.
Right? Yeah. Nobody. It won't affect your bank account. You know, it won't affect your job status.
If you think, as backbiting as this industry is, as rough as it can be in the entertainment industry, I think comedians by far go out on faith more than anybody else. We will take a gig months out, drive to it, have no contact with anybody, get there, perform the whole week, and then get paid a check.
Yeah.
And then go cash it when you go home.
No, I talked to these magicians, and they were like talking about deposits. I was like, deposit? You get money before? You know what I mean? But I guess some bigger names probably do get deposits.
You got a deposit?
I know, for this gig. And then I get it. You didn't even tell me it was coming for this. I got a check in the mail. I wasn't even looking for it, and it was a deposit for this.
Your contract said it was coming.
I don't read
And then
those.
you signed it, handed it in. That's right.
I've had gig masters.
Have you ever
word for word?
I'll get paid in full beforehand because they just pay through the gig, and that's like, I don't want that at all.
Pressure, right? I don't like.
Now I have an unpaid free gig on the books.
And then you don't even feel good. Yeah, then you don't even like. Then it's just a chore on your calendar because you've already.
It's like, oh dear God, you're just thinking, if I get COVID, then I'm losing $800. You know, it's just like the money's already.
Gotta pay them.
I'm gonna get sued.
I know. But yeah.
But I thought about that, like you know, just from booking and having people come in and even coming into this festival, it's like we buy all our stuff in advance. We plan our whole schedule around it. We'll buy the plane tickets, we'll rent the cars, and we just know that money's on the other end. And we also believe we're gonna do a good enough job to not mess up our money. In the meantime, and have signed nothing. Like, we go out on faith, man. That's delusion.
I'm starting to feel like this is a bad business.
This is the first time we're realizing it.
Maybe we should get into
this is very unsafe.
Well, remember when the pandemic happened and you had 8 months of work and it just went away?
Oh yeah.
It's not a great business.
It's not a great business, especially for that. But I know what you're saying about the, like, just trusting, because sometimes you do a gig and they're over the top. They're like, hey, just checking in. Are you going to be here in 6 weeks? You're like, yeah, it's on the calendar. I'm going to be there. Hey, just checking in. Let us know your flights.
Unless I get a better deal, then yeah.
Unless someone literally offers $1 more for me to do anything else. And it doesn't even have to be comedy. They might just want me to, like, pave their driveway, and I would do it. No, but like, then there's other gigs where it's the opposite, where you book it like 9 months in advance and you don't hear nothing from them.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I guess I'm going to Dubuque, you know, and I hope there's going to be people there. I hope that they know I'm coming and they didn't forget.
I've done no marketing,
Yeah.
and I shouldn't have to.
That's the worst when you do reach out to them and you're like, hey, just wanted to confirm we haven't
Ooh.
talked in 8 months. And they're like, oh my God, yeah, you're calling you was on my to-do list. Now we're not a company anymore. So oh, okay.
I had an agent do that to me about a gig. I am worried about other places and venues. An agent it was a $4,000 holiday gig. I planned my whole quarter around this gig.
Mhm.
And like maybe a week out, I was like, hey, where's the information for this? And he's like, oh man, I forgot to tell you. Yeah, they're not a company anymore.
Yeah, they're like they ran out of money because they kept hiring elaborate entertainment. They're like, oh man, we're $4,000 over budget again this month. I don't know what we're doing wrong.
He hit me with I thought I told you. I'm like, I thought I told, like I was gonna go to the NBA All-Star game. Like I had it all in my head. I had never been more betrayed. And it was like somebody the guy who's supposed to be looking out for me, like
Yeah.
I get more compassion from like a crackhead comedy club owner. They're gonna honor their contract.
Yeah, I will say the only people who paid, I had nobody when all the gigs got canceled March 2020. The only one that paid out for me, I know some guys got their cruises paid out depending on how close they got canceled from, but none of mine got paid out. The only gig that got paid out was my least paying gig. It was like some room in Salem. It was like going to be like $200.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? We feel bad. We're going to give you this $200.
Damn.
But all the other ones, nothing. No.
They felt bad.
No. Yeah, they felt bad. I was like, you guys are the ones who are going to be closed. They should have kept that $200. I'm sure they're not in business anymore.
I had a guy damn near offer his girlfriend, and my brother was there, and he said, "What are you doing?"
Wait, what?
Yeah, this.
Offer his girlfriend.
Yeah, hey, we can't pay you.
Do you want to have sex with my girlfriend?
That's yeah.
I don't think that's legal.
I don't think it was either. It was in Peoria.
Was she aware of the?
She looked like this is not the first time that they.
She just is like super into you, and she's like, just tell him you don't have any money.
Yeah.
I just remember my brother being there, like my older brother. He'll vouch for me on this, and he said, "Hey man, no."
He's like, I just looked at the website. Who was here last week? Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
We knew something wasn't going to be on the up and up, because there was maybe 4 people there at the gig, and I'm like, man, this is a bad business model, Yeah,
but that's a bad business model, and also not a great relationship. I would say that's a red flag. If you get offered up in form of payment, you got to get out of there. You guys, you got to leave him.
It sounds very trafficky when I say it out loud, but at the time it was like they seemed to like have it.
Yeah, they were like, no, she's like, this is what I bring.
Yeah, this is.
Doesn't seem right. I'm glad but you said no.
No, my brother said no for me, and then that's when I said no.
What was your brother? Was your brother like your manager or something?
No, he was just there.
He was just there.
He was there. He was just there.
Just his brother. I didn't want him to have sex with a stranger.
He's just a citizen, a good citizen.
Well, he's 10 years older than me, and he just kind of sniffed it out beforehand, and he was just like, you gotta make them pay you.
Yeah,
because this isn't whatever they're about to do.
Do you have any gigs that never paid? Do you have anything on the ledger? Because sometimes I feel like people have this idea of comedy where constantly people aren't paying, but that's not really true. I mean,
I do. I got one.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I only have one.
Yeah,
and it's not that much money.
And they were bouncing checks before that.
Yeah.
So it was like it's almost on you that you still win.
Right.
Yeah.
It's your own desperation. Because comics will do that too, where they haven't paid anybody in 6 weeks. Like, well, they're gonna pay me.
Yeah. And why would they have me on the books? Nobody's that arrogant.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this happened before I went to the San Francisco comedy competition. I'm not name dropping. I'm just this is the importance of how much I needed this money. because those comedy competitions are like, yeah, let's take the poorest people and make them travel cross country.
Yeah,
with
and
no
they can
place to stay.
they can find somewhere to put themselves up in San Francisco.
Right. Yes.
Right.
They'll have 5 friends
For
in San
cheap.
Francisco and Oakland.
There's no housing crisis there. And then also let's make the contest 6.5 weeks long.
So if they had a real job that cared about their self-esteem,
they'll have to quit.
Yeah. If they really cared about comedy, they know what to do. So I'm getting this this MC gig, and I do the whole week, 6 shows, and it was only for like $125, but this is how much I needed it. They kept telling me, okay, so come back on Tuesday. They said, shows were over Sunday. They said, come back Tuesday. We'll have a check for you. And I went Tuesday, which was my birthday, and the place was locked up.
Oh,
And I was calling, they did not answer my calls, and I just got. And I was broker on my way to San Francisco, and that one hurt me.
Yeah.
ouch.
And I came back, and I'm like, well, you all owe me. Nobody paid me. They said, we don't owe you. You're an open micer. Ooh, yeah. Ugh.
Damn.
That is
Horrible.
And they didn't even offer you a lady or anything. Horrible.
No, that's where I draw the line.
That's just downright.
They closed for good, like maybe a month later, something like that, and that was a wrap. But yeah, I mean, bad business.
I've never understood that either. Like, why do you start stiffing comedians when you're about to close? Because like at that point,
Go out with a
you're
bang,
closing
man.
anyway. You're going out of business.
It's
Yeah.
a bonus for the comedian.
Yeah, start burning that cash.
Well, I always thought that the whole thing that keeps this industry together is when you don't pay somebody, the word travels around so fast, your name is broken.
Right.
So that's what keeps you paying. Like I gotta make sure to pay them. I gotta make sure I'm doing this on time, because that spreads faster than anything. Is you
and it's the reverse is true. And I always tell this to people. It's like it doesn't take much to make comedians feel like good and valued, and just doing like little things, that word spreads fast. Like, oh my God, I can't wait to go back to this place because they, had this or that, or like,
Well, I mean, this festival, Idaho, because we've been doing these gigs for 10 years, like the comedy nights. You were one. This seems like the Andrew Love Fest, but you're one of the only people.
That's how we like it around here.
This man is one of the
Every
only
week.
people who did not fight me for months when I asked him to come here for the first time. Like everybody else is, I don't know, maybe. Like they're fighting me on it.
Well, this is not a love fest. This is just saying Andrew will take any gig. He didn't read the contract. He said yes immediately. That doesn't paint a very good picture. A love fest.
It felt better though, because
No, but yeah.
every time people do this gig, the next time they're like, so when can I come back? Because it's a fun gig. But you hear North Idaho a lot of times. People don't know anything about it other than what's on the news, and they don't want to come out because they're scared their material won't work here. And I'm like, this is one of the best places to perform. But yeah, you came out and did your thing. You were one of the favorites, and
No surprise.
The love fest.
Remember we did Laughter and Lassos? It was
New Year's. No, I remember that because my wife Heidi was here, and we talk about that all the time, because it was like it's like trying to convincing me was easy, but I had to convince her, like, oh yeah, we're gonna go. It was either Coeur d'Alene or Moscow. I can't remember which.
It was Coeur d'Alene.
Coeur d'Alene. Like, yeah, we're gonna go to like Idaho for New Year's. This Best Western. It's gonna be really fun though. We got a room and everything. It's a Best Western Plus. It's not a Best Western. Get that out of your mind. It's a Best Western Plus. No, but then she was so impressed because you guys had drinks in the room waiting
Yeah.
for us. So just like little things, and then people talk about that and get a good reputation.
But the show was trash that night. Like them,
Yeah, well, there's all
not
these
you. Yeah, it was
drunks.
the drunk. It was the New Year's crowd, and they put noisemakers on all of the tables.
Yeah.
God.
Like idiots. That's the stupidest thing you
When
could
will they
do.
learn?
Yeah, I mean, they were all, and I was on stage like, can you not make noise?
I did. Yeah, I've done the New Year's shows where they have the poppers on the tables, and like everyone's like, "Don't do them." Then they tell these 2-year-olds, "Don't do them until midnight. That's the only popper you'll have." They immediately pop.
So you want me to do it when everyone does it, when mine will be very insignificant?
Yeah. It's so stupid. Okay.
Should we get into backing up?
We should
Alvin?
get
How
it.
can
Yeah,
we
we've talked to our guest here. So Alvin, you're familiar with the format.
Yes.
What do you need backup on, my friend?
Do I do them both or do I do one?
Do the first one, and then if we have time, we'll get to the second one.
Okay. I think Neil De Grasse Tyson is completely full of crap.
Wow.
Ooh.
I like it.
Comes out swinging.
I like the hot. It's a spicy one. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Explain yourself.
He drives me absolutely crazy. He gives me the energy of a kid who is a nerd in high school and gets attention for the first time and doesn't know what to do with it, but he just doesn't want it to stop.
Yes.
And as a result, it's like, how do I make myself sound smarter than I am? How do I make myself sound like I know more than everybody else? He takes things I'm interested in and makes me feel like I'm too stupid to understand them. When if I'm interested in something, I'm super passionate about learning it, and listening to him for like a minute makes me want to stop. And I don't feel that way about if somebody wants you to learn something. What does Einstein say? If the most intelligent people can explain something like they're explaining it to a 4-year-old, they can take the most difficult topic and explain it just that somebody who's in a 4-year-old could understand, right?
Yeah.
Neil De Grasse Tyson does the opposite of that.
So your team
like
Bill Nye, an anti.
Do they have a rivalry? That would be a great.
Do they?
He's
That's
the only
like
other
Crips and
guy
Bloods.
in that same.
You're either a Bill Nye guy or you're a Tyson guy. You can't be both.
Yeah.
I feel, and I've said this before. If you love Donald Trump and you believe everything he says, you can't believe anything that Neil De Grasse Tyson says, and vice versa. There's not one person who's like, I find both of them to be geniuses. There's not one person. I don't.
I see what you're saying. I thought, okay, yeah. Like, the Venn diagram of people who love astrophysics and love Donald Trump. They don't overlap.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
But I will say, I'm going to back you up because I agree with you about what you first said about when he. First of all, how did he get famous?
Right.
So I believe that he's a super.
Nobody knows.
I believe that he's a super smart astrophysicist and all that stuff. But like, why is he?
Why is
he's
he
not
the
like
guy?
Why is he the guy?
Right.
It's my same thing with Yo-Yo Ma. It's like I believe he's a great cellist, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no one out there that can beat him.
Nobody else has aspirations.
He's just the only cellist we're ever gonna hear of our whole life.
And I feel like it's because the rest of them are really doing their job.
Yeah. And he's down there doing TikTok videos.
Exactly. And he's not, I'm like, so there's nobody else, Neil. You don't have because isn't he a Carl Sagan apprentice?
You're beyond Johnny and I's
He's a what apprentice?
Carl Sagan, the guy who did the Cosmos show before Neil De Grasse Tyson.
Sure, he says, pretending to know who.
This is how much I've researched this, because I'm like, this guy, how do I want to?
Sorry, just Johnny and I are taking notes. I'm like, Kanye has his own shoe line, and Johnny's like, Carl Sagan was a scientist. Okay, continue.
There's certain people I shouldn't want to punch you in the face just for you explaining astrophysics. You're technically helping me become a smarter, better person. Why does it make me angry only when you talk?
Would you still feel that way if he didn't have a mustache that looked like it belonged on a felt puppet?
Does his hair bother me? I mean, I feel like if I bring this into the situation, like I sound like, oh, he's got a full head of hair, so that's why.
You're jealous. He's
he-
jealous of
he's
the
the-
scientist's hair.
It's not that. I don't care for his widow's peak. I don't.
I like what you said, though. I'll back you up on that too. Is that he's run out of, so like he came on the scene,
Right.
very excited about science.
Yes.
And we can get behind that.
Yeah.
And maybe he's inspiring young people to go into science. We need that, of course. But then after a while, he's just around and he still wants to be. So now he's like going after, Spider-Man couldn't really swing like that, or else the vortex of his prisms won't. And you're like, we don't need that. We don't need you taking down Spider-Man or X-Man or any other man.
I've always maintained, and it's just been this filter in me. If I want to punch somebody in the face while they're talking, there's a good chance they are full of it.
Yeah.
I know it.
It's you got to trust your gut. It's your gut telling you this person.
But I mean, like, of course, and that's the other thing is like, of course you're right. Like when he's like, Magneto couldn't really do, it's like, yeah, we didn't need you, or like, if you're the astrophysicist, like figure out how we go to Mars or whatever. But like, I don't need you here to explain my, why superheroes are
ruin my childhood dreams.
Yeah.
He has literally never made anything more clear to me that I wanted to know about.
Yeah.
He's never made it like, oh, now I get it. He'd never be accused of that. And I listened to his book. I tried. I've done it. I've tried to get on that train.
That's better than me. I've heard him on, I guess I've just seen him on like either like those TV shows, interview shows, and like I think he wants to go all the time for like the head blowing moment where, because like anytime anybody smart starts talking about space, it is sort of mind blowing because it's so much bigger than you could ever contemplate or whatever. And so he gives you something in perspective. You're like, it's just supposed to blow your mind, but it's like at a certain point, I can't comprehend it. So you're just beyond. I can't do it anymore. It doesn't mean anything to me.
It's bigger than that to me. I've listened to him one time go on a tangent where all of a sudden he's talking about how people shouldn't put a case on the cell phones because they're made perfectly to fit into the palm of your hand, and you're more likely to drop the phone as opposed to not having it in a case. And he's like spinning it. He's like, see, it's perfect. And I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? Like, are you trying to blow my mind about phone cases?
Yeah, he's like Joan Rivers on QVC. Like, I don't know. This thing is amazing. You get a cut of this?
Product was made perfectly.
And that's bullshit too. I don't care if he's an astrophysicist or not, because my phone, I didn't have a case on my newest phone, and I dropped it a bunch, and it sucks now. It's got a big crack in it. And then I did put a case on it, and I dropped it in the street. It got ran over by a car, and it survived. Explain that.
This is the best day of my life.
That's what we try to do. This is what you do. Yes.
I've just been
That's what all of our listeners are saying right now, too.
Yeah.
This is the best day of my life.
I've been holding this in this whole time. I'm like, I feel crazy feeling this way. Like, there's got to be somebody out there.
We got to turn the tables. We got to turn the tables on this Neil De Grasse Tyson. Although I have heard that, I don't know, maybe this is reckless, but sources say that Bill Nye is kind of an asshole in person.
I won't have it. I won't.
But that one's funnier to me because like Neil De Grasse Tyson, if he's like a pompous ass, at least that's,
you can see it.
It fits.
Yeah.
It fits the whole thing. But Bill Nye, he's wearing like lightning bolts on his tie and his hair. He's got big hey kids, and then he gets out of there and he's like, they fucking passed me over for that Nobel Prize again. Those bats,
He's like Krusty the Clown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which I just want to point out, did not understand that character when I was a kid. Now it's one of my favorite things.
Oh, because it's all stand-up. It's all like inside stand-up jokes. Krusty's my favorite character too for that exact reason.
When I was younger, I'm like, he's not funny. He's a clown, but he's not funny. And now I'm just like, I get it, dude.
There's an episode, I forget what sets up the joke, but he loses his voice, or he's got a problem with his like speaking or something, and then he gets cured. I think Bart is like a faith healer. Okay. And he can't speak right, and then Bart heals him, And he goes, I got my comedy K's back. He's like, Kato Kalin killed the cat. And you're like, who's going to get that joke? Except for like, the comics are like, yeah, if I put a K sound in this, the laugh will probably be a little bit bigger. That's what Neil De Grasse Tyson should explain. Why do K sounds work better than non-K sounds? What's the science behind that?
Ooh.
For laughter.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds like you're more authoritative in your words when you say. Well, I mean, I don't want to bring up Hitler on your show, but like that man used a lot of K's.
What? Hitler used a lot of K's. You thought Hitler was writing those speeches like punching it up with K noises?
See if you can up my K count.
You all ever thought about the fact that Hitler did have a writer who would punch up his speeches?
I don't know about that. That's why the KKK loves him.
He's like, this.
Folks.
They're handing it in like, this needs something.
He's like, I don't know, man. He's like,
Really
they're like, no, you can spell it. Do the whole thing with your spitting in it.
Yeah.
Really...
Kind of like those are K's, aren't they?
I think that's just German.
Ah.
Yeah. Alvin goes deep on Hitler and Neil De Grasse Tyson.
Somebody punching it up.
What's the other topic?
Oh yeah. Well. First of all, we're backing you up clearly. We're anti Neil De Grasse Tyson. We're out. What else you got? You got something else you need to back up on?
Yes, I believe that NFTs are a money laundering scheme for both Bitcoin and I think this is what people are doing now. Like this is the Cayman Islands accounts. Like this is the hiding the money in plain sight. These things have no value. They just don't. You can make a copy of it. It's the exact same thing. There's nothing special about it. Why would I put millions into this other than I need to have a write-off and hide this? And I can sell this to somebody else, and get that money back when I need it.
So just to because I don't know if everybody knows, an NFT is a non-fungible token. So it's like a digital thing that they try to, using the same stuff they use with like Bitcoin, they try to make one of one or unique so that you can buy and sell it and it has value. But I agree with you. I was out on those and I'm out on Bitcoin. I'm out on all of them. Mm-hmm. Anything that's like, you need it, you know what I mean? I'm just out on it because once I heard those stories of people getting like locked out of their accounts or whatever, I'm out forever.
Anything that you don't have to explain why it's gone, I'm out on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Johnny, do you have any Johnny has a friend who's trying to sell him Bitcoin actually.
Our relationship ended.
I
should reach back out and be like, hey, I just got this new phone, and act like the son sold the phone of the dead dad.
We've been reading the texts. He got hit up by some scammer and trying to like get his like financial information, and so they keep talking about Bitcoin, buying and selling Bitcoin futures.
But I keep steering the conversation into my toilet's overflowing. I have diarrhea.
Okay, so you sound like you know a little bit about like that world at least. So I know very little. Mm-hmm. Why are they all that same monkey with the big smile? Is that the only thing they've decided can be an NFT?
No, I think the person who made a series of that same character. And you know why? Because it's so easy to do. It's just like the Barbie makeover thing where, okay, I'm gonna make it this color and this face, and he's gonna have an astronaut helmet. It's not hard. So
but it's only one. I've only ever seen one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You think they would have made it's like going to the during the Renaissance. Mm-hmm. If you went to the Louvre or whatever, and there was just like one Mona Lisa, and then there was like a Mona Lisa with a helmet on, and then there was a Mona Lisa smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like what it is.
I mean, yes, that's what I'm seeing per se. I mean, it's just like any other form of art in this way of here's the artist. He has now decided to franchise or license his art. The art industry then takes the art that he makes and makes official authorized prints of that art. So it can be sold because these prints have been approved by that artist. You know, now we're like three rows down from an original piece. Right?
Art's a scam.
It's completely a scam. It's
Just
a
art in
money
general.
laundering scam. It is. It's because art is the only thing where you don't have to prove why this is valuable. If I say it's $1 million and somebody buys it for $1 million, that's what it is. And you have to answer to nobody when it comes to art. Nobody gets to inspect and be like, wait a minute, that's not worth $1 million. It's art. It's subjective laundering.
There was a story about a guy who he made his house like a museum, like got it. He's like a private collector. Yeah. And he made it like a room. Like they officially had hours, like you could come.
Yep.
But they didn't advertise. They had no entrances. It was just in his house.
Yes.
What was it?
What's that?
The Getty family, the richest
the
family
Getty
in the world.
family in LA. They had like this huge private art collection.
Right.
But they didn't want to be taxed.
Right.
So they called it a public museum then did the whole tax write-off.
Oh,
but then they didn't advertise because there is a Getty museum, like an actual art museum.
Mm-hmm.
But then they didn't tell you that they were only open like 1 hour a week, and no one knew. You know what I mean? There's no entrances, there's no signs. Yeah. They just did that for like the tax purposes.
And as a result, he didn't actually have property taxes. So he turned his house into a museum so that he didn't have to pay any taxes related to the house, and he did not collect or earn money. Any money that he had, he put into art, and that was his currency. So you're not getting taxed on your earnings, you're not getting taxed on your property, and he's just collecting wealth, because all your art just appreciates in value. No art depreciates. Art doesn't depreciate.
That would be hilarious. That would be funny though if art did depreciate. Like, just like in 6 years, people just start going, "I don't get the Mona Lisa." Yeah. And then, like no one's seeing it anymore. It's stupid. And then like the Louvre is like, no one's coming to see this. I guess we'll just take it down. Then it's not hanging there, and then it's like some guy buys it for like a little less, and then he dies, and it was in his garage too long, and it's like no one gives a shit.
Yeah, there's no art recession. It's recession proof.
Yeah,
but that's why I'm like, and only the rich are interested in collecting high value art like that. A poor person who comes up on money, the first thing they do is not, I got to get some art. You know, They buy all the other trappings and they get taxed like crazy on it. But yeah, art is such an intricate way, and the insurance on art, when you can burn your art and collect, like it's approximate value in the future. Come on, man. It's a scam.
Giving me some ideas here.
I know. If only I were smart. Only I were smart enough to take advantage of any of this.
I mean, it's a select group. They also keep the others out because they don't want you to have. It's like the NFL teams. They don't want certain people. Just because you have the money doesn't mean you just get to buy a team.
Right.
It's the same thing with art. They don't let small people in on this.
Well, it is the same thing too, because that's what always pissed me off about when the Sonics left Seattle. The guy was like, Howard Schultz was crying poor. He owns Starbucks, of course, but then he was like, oh yeah, the team's losing money. Like, these teams do not lose money.
Right.
I don't care what you took in and out this year. It's like it's a 1 of 32 thing in the world that every billionaire wants.
Right.
It's like having the Mona Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you're gonna be able to sell it more next year than the year before. Right. And more than that year. That like every year you hold on to it, it's gonna be more valuable. So don't like act like, oh, I'm losing money on this one insanely valuable thing.
I swear to good, like you all are selling yourself short as a podcast. Like you could make so much money as therapists for men. You know how many people daily walk around with this stuff in their head and they're just like, God, I gotta talk about this. And if you just got two of your bros backing you up, just like, hey, no, you're right, man.
Yeah.
Like you all aren't even pushing back on this at all.
No.
No, of course not.
Format. No,
time
it's
to
an
push
echo
back.
chamber, baby.
That's right. Ask Andrew's wife. Yeah.
Look how much work you're bringing up Hitler and all this
Yeah,
crazy
like,
shit.
yeah,
We're just
I'm like,
agreeing with you.
I don't even know whether I didn't know that was in there. I had a breakthrough.
Yeah.
But honestly, man, like people would pay a lot of money just to have you all agree with them.
We should start charging our guests.
Yeah, a little bit. I feel really like cleansed today.
All right, let's start sending invoices to past guests.
Yeah, we're gonna go. All right. Do you have Alvin? Thank you for doing this. First
Of course,
all,
man. Of course.
do you have anything you want to plug? First of all, this festival is amazing. It's too late for you to come to it now. While you're hearing this, it's already happened. But I assume this will happen in the future.
Yes.
So if be on the lookout. If you're ever in the area, if you know people around here, and you guys also
What's the
do
festival
shows.
called?
Yeah. What's the festival? Moscow Comedy
Called
Fest.
Hitler's favorite comics.
Hitler's favorite funnies. Moscow Comedy Fest,
Moscow.
and we'll be doing it next year around the same time. We take best headliners around the country and we put them all in one place here in Moscow. There was a jazz fest that was here, or that is here. That's been here for decades, and people hear like jazz in Moscow, Idaho. That's what we wanted to do for comedy. Is we wanted to bring comedy in a place where you least expect it. So we have stand-up artists from Chicago, New York, LA. They're all here, in the rolling hills of the Palouse where you wouldn't expect it. And
Dude, this airport is so small. I've never flown into Pullman before.
yeah,
When you get off the plane, it's like Indiana Jones style. You just walk off the plane out of the tarmac, and then you literally walk to a fence and then just out of the fence. And you're out of the airport. There's no
That's
inside.
right.
You just keep walking out.
There's no inside.
It's just like a fence, and it's one of those revolving
No building.
Yeah, there is a building, but you don't even go in. Like your bags are just like to the side in a pile.
Just throw your bags over the fence.
Yeah.
So I don't want to plug that airport, but but I have a special that's out that just released recently, and it's called Alvin Williams, Truth or Bullshit, or TOBS for short. So that's on Amazon Prime, and it's also for free on YouTube for anybody who wants to check it out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
Well, thanks for being on.
Thank you all for having me, man.
Yeah, buddy. That's it. So everybody remember, leave 5-star review with what you need backup on, and we'll talk about it on the show. And subscribe to the Patreon for post-show banner, which we're about to do right now. So thank you for listening to The Cavalry.